Good evening everyone and welcome along to TTML F4. We are here of course on F1 2021. It is Season 5, Round 4 of the Championship as we take on the Austrian Grand Prix from the Red Bull Ring. My name is James Head. I am back after a week's layoff doing the PSGL and VRT Esports Cup event. Don't get used to me for being around too long of course because I'm back at PSGL next week. So you've got me as a one-off here tonight as your lead commentator, of course, and joining me in the comment box is now going to be a familiar face of F4 moving forward. It is, of course, TTG Conti. Conti, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing really well, and yeah, hopefully I don't have the same issue as last week where nobody could hear my great commentary over the qualification because my mic was somehow muted. Don't know how, but yeah, great to be here, and yeah, thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. You are very welcome indeed. Of course, we were due to have Cadwell. Cadwell, I think, is busy with some uni stuff. He's not going to be committing to F4 moving forward either. So we have got a new commentator, and I'll come on to that, of course, at the end of the stream. But to remind you of what actually happened last week, I wasn't here at the Spanish Grand Prix, but it was Imadi who took the win. It was Graham Chappell in second, and it was Maximus in third. What did that do, though, to the championship standings? Imadi, 74 points. He's only got a 9-point stranglehold over the championship over Graham going into round 4, with Graham, of course, in second on 65 and Bunty in third on 59. Way ahead, I've got to say, of the rest, with Maximus in fourth on 32, Kermit in fifth on 29, along with Atlas Copo, AJ in seventh on 28. There is a moth around my leg, which I'm trying to kick away, so I take you through the commentary standings. I got a tack last night as well, by the way. Tanturi Paranya in 8th on 28 as well. Callboy and Slasher tied for 9th on 25. Then Mitchell and Arvid Brynmike tied for 11th on 20. Keys in 13th on 16. Yana in 14th on 15. Ray Meader in 15th on 14, with Storm in 16th on 13, Cannibal in 17th on 11, and Secret Dundee in 18th and 19th, with Scuba Steve also tied on 10 points. Invictus hasn't scored any points just yet, but I'm a D, 74 points. Graham Chappell, of course, in second on 65, Bunty in third on 59, 15 points separating the top three going in towards tonight in Austria.
Yeah, and as I've seen last week, all these guys are really fast. Graham really consistent, so yeah, could hold something over us in the coming races, but it's really tight and definitely not decided yet.
There's a comment, by the way, just came through. Jeffrey for the win. I bet $1,000. I wonder if that's going to be turned into a $1,000 super chat by the end of the stream. I will bet you that Jeffrey does not win out on track. I'm not even going to say I haven't even got $1,000, so I'm not even going to give that super chat out. But of course, fantastic to see you commenting in. Of course, you're showing your support for your favourite drivers, of course, as well. Taking you through the constructor standings as well. We've got 20 drivers, by the way, within the lobby, which is fantastic. And taking you through the constructors, Haas lead the way on 91 points, with Aston Martin in second on 90, AlphaTauri third on 84. Again, well ahead of the rest, with Alpine in fourth on 49, Red Bull in fifth on 48, Mercedes in sixth on 44, Williams in 7th on 29, McLaren in 8th along with Ferrari on 25 points, and Alfa Romeo in 10th on 13. Haas, though, only got a 1-point advantage over Aston Martin. AlphaTauri in 3rd as well on 84. Very close in terms of the constructors, and we haven't even reached the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, it is, and yeah, talking about Haas, it's a real team effort with Bunty and Maximus being 3rd and 4th in the driver standings. Aston Martin and AlphaTauri are lonely on top in the driver standings, and yet a one-man show. But maybe their teammates can get in some extra points, and they can snatch the lead away from Haas.
Yeah, of course, qualifying is about to begin, by the way. 5 seconds until we get going, of course, into the lobby. No fancy graphics, no Tom Zaggers in the background to take us through, of course, in terms of the graphics. So I'll have to come up with our own facts as we go along for the Austrian Grand Prix, of course, and it is 4.3 kilometres and then 2.6 miles. 10 turns awaiting the guys out on track, of course. This track was formidable for a lot of spins last night in Formula 1 and TTML F1, and hopefully we are going to see a clean session both in qualifying and in the race, because honestly, driving standards were pretty poor last night.
Yeah, they were, and I was part of one of those races in F2. Driver standards need to go up, but I've put in all my trust in these guys. It's a great track to race on. A lot of opportunities to make some overtakes here. So I'm sure these guys will give us a pretty good show tonight.
Yeah, of course, 3 DRS zones that the guys have got to take in as well. Obviously, one down in towards turn 1, one up the hill in towards turn 3 at Remus, and then one down in towards turn 4 at Schlossgold. Those are the corner names, by the way. If I mispronounce them, remains to be seen, as it is raining out on track. Very interesting indeed. It was dry qualifying, dry in the race last night. Intermediate conditions, though, for the guys out on track, and for anybody that might have done dry practice, this could be a whole new ball game for them.
Yeah, it is. It's really tricky if you only practiced in a dry to put on inters and put in a competitive lap time here. But yeah, just put in a fuel for a couple of laps and give it a try, and in the end put in your final lap. I'm really curious to see if it's going to be raining in the race as well, because if it's going to be dry in the race, people are going to be running a dry setup here, and that makes it even trickier tonight.
Yeah, to be honest, they've got to see whether or not they go for dry setup. If it's going to be dry in the race, then I think everyone will probably qualify on a dry setup. But around a track like Austria, where you've got to have really high downforce to get that car hunkered down on the track, it might not be as bad as what we would have made it out to be if it was dry conditions. In the wet, of course, it is a whole new different ball game. 25 litres of water can be disposed of by these intermediate tyres, of course, out on track per second. So, if that's the case, the rain is actually not that heavy out on track. This could easily dry towards the end of the session.
It can, and in the background you can see some light clouds, but some sunshine as well. So, yeah, if it's Austria like in real life, it could be dry in a minute or 5 or 6.
I think Tonturi Piranha has just gone round the fin coming through turn 4. He's got right side end plate damage on the car, so he's obviously going to be coming in back into the pit lane. Just saw that on the mini-map. Ray Meader is the first man out on track, by the way. He's now coming through the final corner at Rint and Red Bull Mobile, of course, and then up towards turn number 1. Name the Lauda Curve, of course, famously known as Nicky Lauda's corner. Renamed, I think it was in 2018 or 2019, the corner. But Ray Meader on a lap, coming in towards the kink of turn 2, and then up in towards Remus at turn number 3. 17.6 through the first sector from Ray Meader, so it's not too bad at all. He gets the car turned in. Very nice, I've got to say, hitting the curb. A little bit of oversteer on the exit, now running down in towards turn 4, and this hard, heavy braking zone at Schlossgold down in towards turn 4, and you've got to get this braking point dead on, because if you don't, you either spin up on the curb on the inside, or you run wide and you go in the gravel on the outside. And Ray Meader's looking at very nice indeed. Now coming through the kink of 5, and then of course in towards turn 6 at Pirelli corner, before they hit of course the Verth curve at the end of the second sector. Ray Meader nearly run out wide. I thought that was going to be an invalidation. 50.6 though through the middle sector, which is not too bad at all, and now through the Verth curve at 7 and 8 on towards Rint and Red Bull Mobile at turns 9 and 10, and Ray Meader now hits turn 9. There's a spinner at the top of the hill coming through turn 3. One of the McLarens was around, might be Yana on an outlap. Ray Meader though running towards the line. We should expect laps on maybe in around the 112 mark, so 113 from Ray Meader, 113 flat to start off the night. Not a bad lap.
No, definitely not a bad lap. Was struggling a little bit on traction in turn 3, but besides that, looked pretty good. And we've got Corbo with the fastest lap now with a 112.9. So really good lap time from him as well for his first lap. So yeah, people getting used to this conditions here, and yeah, probably gonna put in some nice times after this after their first stint.
Yeah, fantastic to see Cowboy out on top at the minute. Cannibal has retired through the final corner. Scuba Steve goes quickest with the 112 flat. So already into the 112s. I thought that would have been pole position, but it's not. Scuba Steve is out on top, and there's Cannibal, by the way, to the right-hand side. AJ is now running to the line. Good lap from him, 112.1, only a 10th off, actually, Scuba Steve. But Scuba Steve out on top, AJ second. Graham Chappell, one of the title contenders, of course, coming into tonight in Austria. He's in P3. Cowboy there in P4. Not many drivers going to lap in, and Victus now runs to the line at 13.9. Not representative of his time at all, I don't think. We saw Storm move up to third as well. Now formerly known as TTG Storm, now out of TTG, and now back to his old account of Storm 72 UK, which is not too bad. Secret Dundee has spun, by the way, at the top of the hill through turn 3.
Yeah, probably struggling on traction there, exiting the corner or touch the curb. It's really easy to do that in dry weather, but in wet conditions it's even more easy to lose the car there. But yeah, that's his lap for now. And I was just watching Mitchell, who invalidated his first lap, so he's going to be doing a second one, I believe, now.
Yeah, Atlas Copel, by the way, is spun coming through turn 8 on the inside of the curb, and that is him out of the session. So Atlas Copel, bit of a, maybe one of the favourites, I've got to say, for qualifying. Down there, 18th position, will not be going any further in the session. Yana I'm on board with now, coming through the final quarter of the fin. Going to put it up there towards the top end. It goes 5th with a 112.689, I should say. So good lap from Yana. And you were on board with Mitchell. He's coming towards the end of his lap as well in the Alpine, running to the line now. And again, not a bad lap in and around sort of Yana area, Graham area, 112.9, very good lap from him. Invictus, by the way, improved 0.5 of a second as well. That black fly is now getting my nerves on the screen. Nearly 6 minutes gone, Scuba Steve out on top, AJ second, Storm in third. Quite interesting though, some of the guys have actually came back into the pit lane. If I was them, I'd be coming out probably for another lap to try and get some intermediate running in.
Yeah, I would just do a couple of laps to get used to the track and the conditions. And as Core Boy is going into the 111s, 111.996 now, and professional pole for him. So already in the 1.11s, which I didn't expect coming into this race.
Yeah, 111.9. Well, obviously, in terms of the patch update, in terms of the performance update as well, the lap times last night, 103.5, we normally see towards the top end of the 102s around here in Austria. Obviously, they've changed the performance and it's updated, and that's why I think they're about 10 seconds off compared to being about 8 or 9 seconds off around here. I'm a D, by the way, has just set the fastest middle sector out of everyone, 49.9 through the middle sector for I'm a D, and now he's running in sort of the final couple of quarters as Mitchell goes to the top of the 111.9 as well. I'm a D, I think it's going to go way quicker than a 111.9, comes through the final couple of quarters down to Piranha just in front of him out on track. I'm a D now running to the line. Never trust the commentator, 112.4.
Yeah, I was on board with Kiki, who said a purple sector 1, but really struggling in sector 2 here. So not expecting this one to be into the 111s, but yeah, still getting used to conditions here. And Coreboy setting another faster lap with a 111.8 now, so he's really flying.
And I believe it stopped raining out on track as well. It looks like the spray is being kicked about on track. However, I can't see any raindrops now falling on the track. I think it stopped raining. Keys there running through in the final corner. He's going to go 13th, obviously, with this lap. Secret Dundee, by the way, how's that for lap time? A 146 flat from Secret Dundee. Dead on a 146. Not bad at all, but he's nowhere around his pace. He's going to go a lot quicker, I'm sure, than that. FRL Charlie just kicked up on a lap as well. 17.4. He is a brand new driver in the Red Bull, as a reserve, of course, here in TTML F4. And I actually commentate with them in FRL on F1 on a Tuesday night, so it's fantastic to see the other side of things. There's a Mercedes round at turn 3 though, and that must be key.
It was key. I was on board with him. He invalidated on turn 1, but wanted to see how fast he could go, and yeah, spun in turn 2 or 3 actually it is.
Yeah, that's a turn at Remus. DRS is enabled. Out on track. DRS is enabled. Charlie is just finishing off his lap. He may as well. He's only through the final 2 corners, but you can see him running wide there. He actually keeps it valid. It's a good lap, actually, this by Charlie. Goes 5th, 112.2. That's how you make your statement on your debut. You go ahead of Graham Chappell, who's second in the championship. And that is on a fresh compound of intermediate tyres. However, though, with halfway gone, Corboy out on top, Mitchell second, Scuba in third. And literally what we said at the start of qualifying, the rain wasn't as heavy enough to actually impact on the track. It's going to be dry running for the rest of the session, but when is this track actually going to physically dry? It looks to me, as I run on board with Charlie, there's a spinner through the middle sector. Corboy still out on top, Mitchell second, Yana now in third, but Charlie on a lap. There's hardly any spray being kicked off. The track looks greasy as opposed to being moist or even damp.
Yeah, it is. I'm on board with Invictus now, who's really confident. I put on the soft tires to try a lap, and it doesn't look like it's too bad. I mean, you can't push as hard as you can do in completely dry conditions, but it looks like time to put on the softs and put in some 103s.
Yeah, let's see how he does. 113.461 is his current best. I just thought I'd mention, by the way, as well, the top 7 are covered by 0.4 of a second, just underneath 0.4 of a second. Invictus, by the way, is just invalidated coming through turn 1. So inevitably, that set of soft compound tyre doesn't seem to be working for him for now, but if he can get that run through turn 1, literally saying, I saw the F2 chat last night, and they were saying, Turn 1 is probably the most hardest corner on this track because you've got to get it perfected on that curb. Otherwise, you pick up an invalidation. Otherwise, you spin the car. And Invictus showed an invalidation. 113.4 still his personal best. But on that set of softs, he can go a lot quicker as there are dry patches now definitely appearing on this track.
Yeah, they are. And you can see on Tunturi, he can push relatively hard on these soft tires. So track drying up really quickly here, and yeah, he's about to start his hot lap here.
Is it dries though? Because Storm's just gone second with a 111.9 on a set of inters.
Whoa.
And AJ's going 4 tenths quicker as well, coming through the middle sector. He's now through the final corner. We'll see what AJ can do. Runs the line, and he goes top. A 111.8. So I wonder if we're at the crossover period maybe. Guys send a time on a set of inters. It's really, really fascinating. 7 minutes to go. It could be the case where, later on in the session, last person across the line might get pole position.
Yeah, with track evolution and track drying up, it can be. Probably your last runner is the most important to get track position in the race.
Yeah, Secret Dundee has put on the set of medium compounded tyres as well. He went quickest with a 114.9, or went actually quicker than his previous time, I should say, 114.9. There is a yellow flag in the middle sector. It's one of the AlphaTauris getting away. I think that was Jeffrey. Secret Dundee, though, is 2.2 seconds up on this lap so far. AJ should be coming in for a set of tyres soon. Mitchell's already 9/10 of a second up on his lap coming through turn 4. So we'll see what the Alpine can do as Tunturi goes 107.7 on a set of soft compounded tyres. Track evolution is key, and hopefully we're going to be seeing some really good times, of course, out on track. I'm imagining for F4 standards 104.2, I think, as Mitchell just invalidates.
Yeah, I think I'm putting my trust in these guys. I think they will put in some 3.9, 3.8 maybe.
Scuba Steve has spun through turn 1, lost his entire front wing.
That isn't what you want to do on your hot lap, but he still has enough time. At 6 minutes, it's a short track. As Secret Dundee came in on the mediums with a 106.2, so track definitely getting faster and faster every lap.
Yeah, it is. Maximus is on a set of soft compounded tyres as well. Looks like he might be journeying onto another lap, possibly. He's coming through the final corners, probably just getting a valid lap in to set. There is a yellow flag at the top of the hill. I think that's Scuba Steve still through the middle sector. Secret Dundee, though, out on top. He's still going quicker as well. Tunturi's on a good lap. He runs around the final corner. Probably will go ahead of Secret Dundee. He doesn't. 106.4 in the end. Mitchell didn't go quick. It's a Jeffrey out on top. 106.2. If he remains there, $1,000 coming the way of League Racing TV.
Come on, Jeffrey. We need those $1,000.
It'll be brilliant. If that was a super chat, that'll just make my day, honestly. Jeffrey, though, out on top still. Secret Dundee in second, Tunturi in third. But with 5 minutes to go, the shape and the nature of this qualifying session will change drastically, probably within the next few minutes at least.
Yeah, definitely. As Secret Dundee does a 104.9 now on the mediums, 3-lap-old mediums. So yeah, everyone just get in, put on some new softs, get on your final lap, and yeah, I think we're getting those 103s here.
Yeah, it seems to me as well. It looks as if the set of mediums are actually quicker. Charlie goes quickest now with the 104.5, so we're really beginning to see some very good lap times being set here. Could even reach the 103s maybe by the end of tonight's session, but Charlie now out on top of Secret Dundee in second. Graham Chappell there in third, as Maximus has just gone third as well with 105.7. Yana now goes third with the 105 flat, so you can see the track evolution changing. And literally what I said about a minute ago is already out the window, because we've seen many improvements from the guys out on track. Key is another one that could be improving. He's in the Mercedes, 5.5 seconds up on his time at the minute, and he'll be hoping to try and get a valid final sector, I should say, in as he now comes through in towards Rint and Red Bull Mobile through turn 9 and then towards turn 10. A little bit lagging actually from Key's perspective. He now comes through the final corner and invalidates. Coming through the final corner. Honestly, I've seen drivers go a lot wider in this session and they don't get an invalidated lap.
Yeah, sometimes with Codemasters game, the slightest sliding around gets you an invalidation, but yeah, well, that's what we're going to work with, and it is what it is. And I must say, TTG Kermit and TT Bunty really brave to stay into the pits. They didn't set any laps so far, and they're putting all their money on one stint, actually, on one lap.
They are. I wonder actually if that, as Bunty's now coming back out the pit lane onto a set of soft compound tyres, is the first we've actually seen of one of the championship contenders out on track. The first 14 drivers, by the way, not out on track just yet. 3 minutes ago. It's going to get quite hectic, I think, and this is why Bunty, I think, has came out a little bit early. Invictus has just started up on a lap as well, and he's actually ahead of him out on track. So we're right on board with Invictus coming through with Key. He is he's invalid, actually, on this lap. He'll be coming back into the pit lane. Invictus, though, down and towards turn 4, you can see the nature of the dryness of this track. It's really came of age. Track evolution is still going to be happening towards the end of the session, but Invictus now, what can he do on this lap? In the Williams, through the middle sector, he's 5.8 seconds up, 45 flat through the middle sector, and he invalidates coming through Verth curve at 7.
Yeah, it looked really good, and it looked pretty fast what he was doing, but yeah, just going a little bit wide there, and you have to be careful as well. Yesterday I got stuck on that curve on the exit, and it spun my car out of nothing.
It's an absolute shame. Sorry, I just had to unplug my mic. My crackling was happening again, which was terrible. But there we are. That's the joy of a wearing headset. Charlie on top, Secret Dundee in second, Yana in third, and you can see now everyone has now came out on a set of dry compound tyres. Remeda included. I'm a D. On a set of medium compound tyres, the championship leader is only 13th at this stage. The AlphaTauri will be hoping, and the Scotsman will be hoping, for a very good result. What can he physically do? Can he go quicker than Charlie and Dundee?
He may be. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with all these guys, but I saw Bunty getting a nice little tow from Jen, but he aborts his lap here.
Yeah, he does abort a lap. That's coming through turn 4. I think he's aborted that lap. Callboy is through the first sector, 16.1. So this is the first sector that we're actually seeing now out on track that is representative of the times last night. There's a Red Bull, by the way, that stopped coming through the middle sector. Is that Charlie that stopped by any chance?
Let's see. Oh, Charlie, 104.5 here. Oh no, sorry, it was Invictus putting in P2 with a 104.6. I'm just all messed up in the head now. There's so much going on here. But Corboy seems to be on a pretty good lap here as well. He's really pushing hard, and yeah, what I've seen from him, he's pretty fast in quali.
A little bit slow, I've got to say, coming out of turn 7 and 8. He misses the curve coming through 9 as well. He's very lucky not to get an invalidation. Comes out of 10. Yep. Literally, as I say that, he's just picked up an invalidation. It would have gone quick. He wouldn't have gone quickest anyways, because Remeda has just gone quickest with the 104.1. Good lap from him. Charlie was the one that spun in the middle sector. He is now back on to lap 104.5. Currently in second position. We're going to see a lot of improvements. Graham, I'm a D, goes quickest with a 104.1, and that is what he could do, a 104.184. But there is a lot of track evolution. The sun is now beginning to come out on track. Kermit's on a lap coming through the middle sector as well. Scuba Steve, however, he could be improving quite a lot on this lap as he now comes through in towards the final couple of corners. Watch out for Scuba Steve, because he could be going towards the top end of the field here. Scuba Steve now runs the line, and he goes fourth with a 104.594. Just about gets another lap in if he so wishes. As Amadi out on top, Remeda second, Charlie in third. A lot can change though as Bunty has retired, coming across the coming into the pit lane. In fact,
he does, and I was on board with Kermit, who set a purple sector 2 here and puts in a P3 with a 104.2. So good quality from him as well.
Charlie invalidated on a lap as well. We've got a Williams coming through the final couple of corners. I believe that's Mitchell on a lap. Sorry, it's an Alpine, I should say, coming through the final corner. And Mitchell is on an invalid lap. He would have gone, I think, fourth with that lap, 104.3, as Yana goes into sixth position as well. So good lap from him. Graham was the one actually improved. He went up to eighth position. Secret Dundee's on a lap. Maximus is on a lap as well. We're right on board with Maximus. What can he do? He's on an absolute flyer of a lap if these interval timings are something like they are. Comes across the line into 105.7. They fixed themselves right at the end, and it looks like actually he might be a little bit decent, because that sector 1 hasn't actually worked, and I think Maximus is slightly decent. I think that's the end of qualifying though, and it's Amadi, championship leader out on top. Remeda there in second, Kermit's in third. In the end, top 12 separated by 6/10 of a second.
Yeah, that's really close, but the main importance for Amadi is he did his lap on the medium, so if it's a dry race, he's going to start on the medium tire. And he's gonna have such an advantage strategy-wise.
Yeah, he will. We saw it though with Benny last night in F1, and if you didn't tune in for F1, I'll not spoil the result, but Benny qualified, I think, 4th on a set of medium compounded tyres, and he really did not translate that into the race. Ahmadi in the same car, in the AlphaTauri, out on top. That could mean a big difference, but in terms of strategy, we'll come on to as we go, of course, transition into the formation lap. But Ahmadi out on top, 11 hundredths of a second, separating him and Ray Meeder. Comes to show that Ahmadi, if it was all on an even playing level, I think he'd be well on top and maybe towards the top end of the tiers. Ray Meeder, though, in second. Kermit in third with Storm in fourth. Secret Dundee there in fifth. Charlie on his debut in sixth on a set of mediums as well, so he's going to go quite good. Yana there in seventh. Scuba Steve in eighth. Graham in ninth. And Invictus round off the top 10 with Sunsuri in 11th. Jeffrey in 12th. Maximus in 13th. Bunty didn't improve on his lap. Neither did AJ, Callboy, Mitchell or Key. They start 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18th. Cannibal and Atlas Copo. No time set. The German and the Norwegian down at the back of the field, both spinning out the session very early indeed. Armadillo out on top. Ray Meeder in second. Kermit in third. 600ths of a second in the end, separating the top three. But comes to show, Armadillo on that set of mediums. What could have ye done on a set of softs? And could have it been quicker than the set of than the qualifying time of 103.5 that we saw on F1 last night?
Yeah, who knows? We're never gonna know. Maybe next season or the season after that. But definitely a really fast time. But it's so close between these guys. 11 thousandths of a second to P2 and 600ths of a second to Kermit. So really close playing field here, and yeah, promising for the race.
Yeah, very promising for the race. Sigrid Dundee, by the way, sitting in the Discord, tyres are dropping off so much at the last sector. He lost 6/10 because of that. So the tyres seem to be dropping off, and that's why they take the hits, especially on the left front, I think, is the tyre that really hits the hardest around here in Austria, and that's probably why that the tyres actually go off, and especially if he's done multiple laps on the same tyre, it really comes to show. Merple, by the way, in the comment section said it's a dry race. Included there, blue sky, sunshine, that's what we like to see in terms of the race. But it brings up a whole different conclusion, I think, what could be this race. Ahmadi obviously starting out on top on a set of mediums. Charlie's in fourth on a set of mediums as well. Everyone else are going to be quicker off the start on that set of soft compound tyres. So how do you see the start playing out in terms of the two guys on a set of mediums?
Yeah, they really need to have a good start. If they can lose a couple of positions, but if they can keep this position, their position, and especially Ahmadi as he's in P1, it can be promising. It's a known DRS track, so probably some trains are going to be forming here. So if they can stay in that, they're all fine, and yeah, in the end they're going to profit of it.
Yeah, of course, and if you do want to tune in, by the way, for more action on League Racing TV tonight, F5 is also alongside us, of course, Pariah and Buck taking you through that one, of course, for F5. But why would you tune in to F5? I'm sorry, Pariah and Buck. Why would you tune out of F4, the highest tier that is actually on tonight, compared to F5 Racing? Hopefully, though, across both lobbies, we do get an improvement in driving standards. We do see the expectations really coming about. In terms of the strategy, though, obviously, top 10 qualifying on the same tyres that they qualified on. Ahmadi and Charlie being the ones on a set of mediums, everyone else on a set of softs. Cannibal, interestingly, the only one on a set of soft compounded tyres in the bottom half of the field. Everyone else on a set of medium compounded tyres. Last night, we saw, I think it was, apart from the VSC that came out very early on, we saw drivers go to around lap 12, lap 13 on that set of soft compounded tyre. If they manage their tyre wear easily enough, is it a simple one-stop?
Yeah, it is a simple one-stop. Soft to medium or medium to soft. And Cannibal, as he's starting from P19 on the softs, he really wants to make some quick work of these guys in front of him. Because after a couple of laps, the soft tires do drop off and are similar after around 5 laps or so to the medium. So definitely want to make some early overtakes here.
Merple's comment, by the way, also said, let's hope for a lot of safety cars. I really hope not. I really hope not. I think Austria, this has got the hallmarks of a really great race here in F4. Hopefully they might send me off to PSGL next week in absolute high spirits. Hopefully an improvement in driving standards as well. Conti, I'll come to you quickly. Your top 3.
Ahmadi, Secret Dundee, and Janne.
Interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out, of course, and how Ahmadi gets off the line on that set of medium compound tyres, as now we load in with the 5 red lights loading in. Now for round 4 of the championship here in Austria. Long hold, but it's lights out and away we go. And already Ray Meter gets a better start than Imad, but Imad will cut him off down in towards turn 1. Kermit's a bit slow off the line. It's 4 wide in towards turn 1. Everyone, I think, has managed to get through there. Okay, Charlie was caught up on the inside line. There's a little bit of contact. Yano, I think, has been spun, and Victor's are dropping down the field as well. But Ray Meter is side by side with Imad on the run towards Remus for the first time, and Imad on the outside line holds the lead. Ray Meter doesn't go for the move. Secret Dundee dives up the inside of Kermit. Great move on the brakes. The Hungarian as soon as into P3. Now Scuba Steve is going side by side with Kermit. Could be 3 wide as well with Storm in behind, running down in towards turn 4 at Schloss goal, but Imad leads the way. Ray Meter in second, Secret Dundee in third, Scuba Steve now into fourth. Good move down the inside of Schloss goal, and now Kermit's going to try and repay the favour in towards turn number 6 on the inside line. Just forced him off slightly. The Williams and the AlphaTauri elbows out, and Kermit is through. Scuba Steve now in fifth, Storm in sixth. A lot of chaos further down the field. Jeffrey losing the position to Tunturi Paranya. Tries to go around the outside line. Jeffrey has spun, and Scuba Steve has spun from right at the top of the field, but Imad leads. Red Meter in second, Secret Dundee in third. That's the end of lap 1.
It is. What a chaotic lap 1, but great to watch. And Imad was able to keep on his position. I thought Ray Meter was going to send it on the inside on turn 3, but he didn't do it. He stayed patient, and they already have a gap of 1.2 seconds because all the guys behind them were battling like crazy.
And look at how many drivers are into the pit stops as well. Jeffrey, Invictus, Maximus, Mitchell, Atlas Copo, Cannibal and Key all caught up in incidents on lap 1. Driving standards clearly not being as good as what we would have hoped on lap 1. Storm though on the back of Kermit, 4th and 5th position out on track. Interval timings as opposed to F1 last night have not changed. They have literally, they're just not working on the left hand side. We've got a clean break. A Storm actually, look at this, he's right on the back of Kermit. He's got his ERS open. Not sure if it's on automatic actually, but certainly Storm looks like he's got his ERS fully on. I'm not sure if there's a little bit of a problem maybe with his setup. Ray Meter, by the way, is on the back of Imad. Imad, I think, made a mistake coming through turn 7 and 8, and Ray Meter down the inside line. Imad does not want to get through involved in that battle, and Ray Meter is through, and he's into the lead of the race. Imad surely made a mistake that led him to lose the position.
He did, and Secret Dundee sent the fast lap. It's Bunty actually now, but yeah, Ray Meter, good overtake from him. Made most of the mistake that Imad made, but yeah, what actually happened because of that is that everybody behind, and especially Secret Dundee, who seems to be flying around this track, caught up and went into the back of Imad here in the braking zone.
He did, he's on the brakes, right on the back of Imad, 8/10 of a second now, Ray Meter to Imad. There's a spinner through the middle sector. I think that was Maximus that had spun through the middle sector. AJ and Storm, by the way, side by side. We saw AJ pass through turn 1 on Graham, and he's made 2 positions as about as many corners. He looks to the inside line on Storm, gets the move done. That set of mediums is really coming into play from AJ's perspective. Storm holds off Graham for now. Graham tries to look back down the inside line. Bunty's already up into 8th position, now maybe 7th, down the inside line on Graham. The 2 championship contenders battling out for 7th and 8th, and now they run up towards turn 9 at Rint, and Bunty on the outside line, Graham on the inside line. Secret Dundee I think has got damage, he's coming into the pit lane. AJ holds on in now into P4 as Secret Dundee is into the pit lane, and that look what that creates, because Kermit, AJ, Storm, Bunty, Graham all involved in the DRS train for 3rd.
They are, and I must say these guys making a good goodbye for you. You're not here next week, and I think you're gonna regret it, because these guys are racing like crazy in a clean way,
AJ.
And it looks great. AJ diving it in on the inside and wins the position over Kermit here.
And Bunty absolutely sent it on Storm as well, just in behind. Both moves done, and now look at Bunty. He's going to pick up 2 positions in about as many corners as he now looks to the inside line, and Kermit doesn't fight him aggressively, and Bunty as soon he's into P4. And I've got to say, set of medium compounder tyres seems to be the tyre that is working for the guys out on track at the minute, and whether that's to do with the setup from qualifying, whether to do with the downforce. But Ray Meter out on top, Imad in second, doesn't pull away from the top 2. Little bit of correction there from Bunty and AJ for 3rd and 4th position. But look at the guys in a set of medium compounder tyres. AJ and Bunty have got so much pace, they're probably going to get onto the back of Imad and Ray Meter probably in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, they're really flying, and Bunty setting fastest lap as well, so that just shows his pace here, I think, in a couple of laps. Bunty and AJ are going to be right behind the two leaders of the race now. So IMD is falling a little bit behind, struggling to keep up with Ray Meter here, and AJ and Bunty making some overtakes down here, and Bunty in front of AJ now.
I don't know where to turn. We had a really good battle there with Storm and Graham. Graham is through and he's into P6. AJ's on the back of Bunty. There's a spinner in the middle sector. I think that's Cannibal that is round. But AJ looks the inside line, repays the favour on Bunty. Through he goes and he's into P3. Bunty tries to do the up and under, coming through 4 and then into 5. But AJ's through and he's into P3. Really good racing out on track. Bunty there in 4th. There is a yellow flag, a random yellow flag that's just appeared. Obviously for nothing that's going on out on track. I think it was Cannibal that had spun. And Maximus, I think, has just crashed coming through the final corner.
Yeah, I think he just took a little bit too much of that inside curb, and it unsettled his car, and he almost spun into the pit lane as he is doubting if he's going to come in or going to stay out.
It's letting everyone through, but if he doesn't get a move on, he might be disqualified from the session, from the race. But Ray Meter leads the way. I'm a D. We saw it a couple of weeks ago. I think we saw it last week in Spain. He just held back on the back of the guys, let them battle out, but he's only got one driver in front of him this occasion round.
Secret Dundee's off again. So first he breaks his front wing by breaking into the back of IMD, and now he's around. So that's my podium guy, probably out of concession.
And this is why the lead commentator and head commentator of League Racing TV doesn't make a prediction. Graham Chappell down the inside on Kermit, gets the move done, and now Kermit tries to do the up and under. The Williams and the Aston Martin fighting out. Little bit of aggressive wheel-to-wheel banging between them both. Secret Dundee is retired in the pit lane out of frustration, and Kermit has held that around the outside of turn 6. Great move by Kermit. Graham maybe fortunate not to get a little bit of front wing damage as a result. Kermit was aggressive with Graham, but I think it was all fair and love and war, and Kermit is through and he's into P5 as Charlie and Tattoo Piranha, the two Red Bulls on the back, as well as Storm, are getting involved as well.
Yeah, it's incredible. I don't even know where to look. Oh,
Charlie down the inside on Graham in towards someone. Oh, he didn't pull it off, but a good attempt, and Armady for the lead.
Oh. And there was a car on the middle of the road. I don't know, was it Jana? It is. Jana's standing still? No, it isn't. It's Secret Dundee. What a weird place to for an AI to park the car.
Yeah, his AI's left the session as well. Remeda, by the way, is right on the back of Armady. We saw the move up towards turn 3, so Armady is through and he's into the lead of the race. That might now mean the set of soft runners might have to start thinking about coming into the pit lane a little bit earlier than expected, because it doesn't look like the tyres are wearing as much as what we might have hoped. Graham in P6, Charlie in P7. Charlie, I'm really impressed with his pace so far. Right on the back of Graham Chappell. Kermit, of course, trying to get a snatch away from this battle in behind. Then you've got Tunturu Piranha in behind as well. The Finn, Storm in behind. Cowboys now latch onto the back of this. And now Tunturu looks to the inside line and turn on his own teammate. The two Red Bulls fight side by side in towards turn 10. And he ends up spinning, and that was just not needed whatsoever. I think he's lost a bit of front wing as well. Halston too, he's lost the entire front wing in the VSC.
Yeah, it was really unnecessary to go for the overtake.
Oh,
it's
safety
a
car!
Really high-speed corner. Safety car? For what?
Safety car. It's obviously been upgraded to a safety car. I wonder if Maximus has spun, and that's why it's something to do. Yeah, he's lost his front wing as well, so that might be why the safety cars now came out on track. So Maximus has spun, coming through the Verth curve at turn 8. He's now coming into the pit lane, down there in 19th position. But what does this do to the field? Armady obviously now out in front. Under the safety car period onto lap 8 out of 36. Remeder on there in second and AJ in third. Everyone, of course, got to stick to that delta time. But this will just stack and pack the field. Do guys now come in for a set of hard compounder tyres, try and make it to the end of the race, what, 28 laps I make it to the end of the race? Or do they come in, set of mediums from a set of softs, and then try and make it to the end on 28 lap all mediums?
Yeah, it's going to be really hard if they're pitting. I mean, if I was on softs, even I'm a D on the mediums is coming in, so probably he's going for the hards as well. So, yeah.
I was going to say Bunty has stayed out, and I thought it was Kermit that stayed out with him. It's one of the Alpines, and it's Atlas Coppo that's behind him, actually. So Bunty and Cowboy are the ones that stayed out. I'm a D, AJ, Remeda, all going into a set of hards along with Charlie. Graham interested in these set of mediums.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for Graham, and Jenna puts on mediums as well, and Storm, but it's really hard getting those mediums home. 28 laps is a lot, even with a couple of laps behind the safety car.
Yeah, what you've got to think as well, obviously the guys will not be excessively wearing out their tyres underneath the safety car. They're going to be dropping off probably 2-3% a lap, I would say, on a set of mediums underneath the safety car. Obviously, if they were going at full speed, and it's a very, very high-speed track, of course, around here in Austria, the set of mediums would be going off at around 4-5% a lap. So it really tells the difference. It might just be the case where Kermit, Graham, Storm, Yana, Scuba Steve, all on a set of medium compounded tyres, will get to the end of the race, barring their tyre management. And their tyre management is going to be critical now in this race.
It is going to be critical, and if you're not cautious with your tyre wear, it could mean a puncture at the end of the race. I mean, there's going to be a drop-off for sure, last couple of laps, and they're going to be really slow, especially end of sector 2, in sector 2, with some fast corners there, where you need the downforce, where you need your tyres, but they got to manage their tyres to perfection here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you remember, by the way, the last time we came here in Austria, or certainly the last memory I have of commentating around here in Austria, I remember Amazing Hour taking the lead of the race in F1 and then punctured with nearly half a lap to go. And he was on a set of hard compounder tyres.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's really hard to manage your tyres here, and especially with these guys, they want to make some overtakes, they want to battle each other, they have to defend from the guys behind them. So yeah, tyre wear is going to be there, and yeah, especially in Amazing Hour's case, a puncture with half a lap to go is just, it's everything you've done was for nothing.
Yeah, it was devastating. I think he got overtaken, I think it was by Perpetuum, if I'm not mistaken, and that might have been the race that actually defined that season. I think it was either last season or the season before we came here in Austria. But honestly, it was such a heartbreaking moment to commentate on. Obviously, you had to feel sorry for Amazing Hour. It could be the case where it might happen again. F5, by the way, are following the theme of safety cars. They have got a safety car as well onto lap 9 out of 36. You can tune in for that, of course, like 9 of you are at the minute. Or you can stay tuned in, of course, 8 of you for F4. And looks like the safety car is going to be out maybe another lap. Cannibal is just latching onto the back, so it could be a late safety car deployment into the pit lane. Cannibal is latching onto the back of the safety car queue, but I think, and I'm going to be confident in saying the safety car is going to remain out for another lap.
Yeah, it is. Lights are still on, so it's going to stay out for one more lap. Did I see someone go into the pits? Oh, it's Atlas Copo.
Yeah, Atlas Copo down in 17th. May as well have a clean run of it, possibly from the backfield. Obviously, he's a lap down. Key's a lap down as well. And Key, luckily, I think, for the rest of the drivers, he's really at the back of the queue. And he is going to overtake Atlas Copo, obviously, for position. So Key now going to be in 17th. Atlas Copo is going to be in 18th position. But with Key, he is ingrained in a little bit of a moment with some of the guys around him. He's only got, I think it is, Mitchell and Invictus that's behind him out on track. And then obviously Cannibal is 16th. And Cannibal, sorry, is the one behind him. It's Invictus, Cannibal, and then Atlas Copo, who's now just latched onto the back of the safety car queue. So, at least for Key, he's not going to be ghosting into many people's way and keeping the pace, because that could cause problems in its own right.
Yeah, it can. It's really distracting, and I hope they implemented it through an update, or maybe on the next game, that cars that are a lap down, as the safety car is coming in this lap, so it's just confirmed, but they implement that you can overtake the safety car when you're a lap behind.
Yeah, I think so, to be honest. I've seen on occasions, obviously, where the safety car has decided to come into the pit lane, but everyone was obviously on the same lap. With Key and Atlas Copo's case, luckily they're at the back of the queue, so they're not really going to be affecting as many drivers as what we would have hoped. But Bunty, now the virtual Bert Marlander out on track. He is the virtual safety car. Callboy in behind him as well. And these guys on this side of medium compounder tyres will be absolutely hoping for a really good start. They're on 10 lap old mediums against a 1 lap old hards. Jeffrey, by the way, is dropping down the field, and that is why, because he's got a 5-second penalty with Yana. As we now get back underway, Bunty now leads the way across onto lap 12. We go a third of the way through here in F4, and it's Bunty that leads, Callboy in second, Ray Meter in third, that yellow flag in second. sector 3. 8 for Jeffrey. He's coming back into the pit lane, so we'll avoid, obviously, a VSC deployment or a safety car deployment. Ray Meter on the back of Callboy. Has he got the pace to try and latch on to the back of the top 2? Don't think he has. I don't think he's going to go for the move. Yana, by the way, is going to try and get the move done on Storm. Beautiful move up the king through turn 2, in towards turn 3. Gets the move done to Yana, is now through, and he's into 9th. And Scuba Steve just made a slight mistake there, I think, in behind turn 2. Obviously, on a set of soft compound tyres as well, as Jeffrey has left the session. That's why the yellow flags are out on track. But a very quiet, but a very civilised restart.
It definitely is a very civilized restart. No crazy things out on track. And I just noticed Tunturi went for the soft tires.
He did. Yeah, Tunturi went for a set of soft compound tyres, and that's probably to try and, well, he's going to be in a massive DRS train. I really can't see the moves being made from the Finn, but the Red Bull has got some pace about him, and he'd be hoping to try and get past the likes of Scuba Steve. Bunty, by the way, has pulled away a second on the back of Callboy, on the front of Callboy. He's got the same ERS as Callboy as well, so Callboy obviously not living up to the pace at the minute. Ray Meter there in 3rd, Armady in 4th, AJ in 5th. Nobody looking close enough, I don't think, for moves. Scuba Steve, however, is looking quite close on the back of Storm. This is for 11th and 12th position. Looks the inside line. Storm runs wide slightly, but Scuba Steve in 11th position. Atlas Copa was spun, coming through turn number 1.
He did. So, not the race Atlas Copa was hoping for, I think, but you can see D is really looking to make an overtake on Ray Meter. He didn't have the opportunity yet, but he's really quick in a straight line, and but isn't close enough yet to overtake him. But he's definitely going to try in a couple of seconds, as Ray Meter gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
Yeah, and that was extensive track limits as AJ is spun, coming through turn 7 and 8, gets caught on the curb, coming through the Verth curve, and AJ is now round. He's in P15. Don't think he's got any damage on the car, which is good. DRS is now enabled, of course, on the back under the safety car. Scuba's on the back of Storm, by the way, running down towards turn 1. A little bit of lag induced by Scuba Steve, but looks to the inside line on Storm, gets the move done down the inside line, and Storm actually gets the up and under. What a move this could be from Storm. Actually repays the favour back, and Scuba Steve just saying, you know what, I'm not even going to fight that. He's going to try and go once again side by side. And look at Tunturi as well, just in behind. Storm on the inside line, Scuba on the outside line. Storm goes a little bit too deep. Tunturi a little bit late on the brakes, taps Scuba's back end, but now Scuba is right alongside Storm once again. Graham is side by side with Kermit, running down in towards turn 4 as well. Scuba Steve, though, down the inside of Storm, gets the move done. And we saw Graham there past Kermit as well. He's through, he's into P5, as Storm is still battling with Scuba Steve.
Oh yeah, some great battling between these guys, doing some nice cutbacks on each other there. But in the end, Scuba Steve won the position over Storm, and now Storm has to be careful with Tunturi behind him. He's a little bit behind, fell a little bit back now, but definitely looks fast on those soft compound of tires.
Speaking of a driver that's looking fast, Bunty's 2.3 seconds out in front on Callboy. A massively impressive pace at the minute from Bunty. He is absolutely flying away from this field. And if Ray Meter and Armady don't get a move on, as Ray Meter now looks to the inside line of 2, up the hill and towards 3, he's going to get the move done on Callboy. He's through and he's into P2. And Armady nearly runs into the back of Callboy. In fact, just in behind. Storm's repaying the favour back on Scuba Steve, and Scuba Steve repays the favour back on him. And they're fighting side by side, coming through turn 3 as well. We're right aboard with it now as we come down in towards turn 3. Scuba Steve is really not giving up this fight on Storm. It's been a tremendous battle for the last 2 laps between these guys, and Scuba on the inside line gets outdone by the traction of Storm on the outside line, but he's still there on the outside line and towards 6. This will be brilliant if he can pull it off. Scuba Steve all the way around the outside of Storm, and I've got to say, these are probably 2 of the fairest drivers you will see in TTML this season. Scuba, nearly onto the grass. He loses the position to Storm, but that was induced by his own little mistake there. Just got a little bit leery on the throttle, and Storm's back through and he's into P9. But that was absolutely brilliant between them both. That is what TTML is all about.
It is, and it's incredible to see these guys almost going side by side for almost an entire lap here. And normally I'm used to hearing from you, and it was Parker you did commentary with in Division 4. Oh.
Sorry to cut in. Armady down the inside on a Callboy. He doesn't get the move done. He hasn't got the traction to actually get the move done, but he could be getting the move done down in towards turn 4. Is he going to cut to the inside line? No, backs off and Callboy remains in P3. You can continue with what you're saying. Yana down the inside line of Charlie gets the move done in towards 4, but Charlie's still there on the outside line. He's really not giving up without a fight, and Charlie looks to the inside line on Yana the Finn, tries to hang it around the outside of turn 6. Great move, and Yana is through, and he's into P6 with Bunty's round from the lead!
Bunty's round.
Bunty's round from the lead of the race!
Pushing those tires too hard. I mean, he was creating such a gap to Ray Meter, but pushing those tires probably too hard, and he spun. And yeah, definitely gonna come in.
And Amadeus,
I think, and Amadeus
spun as well. Amadeus spun as well. I think he's got damage on the right side end plate, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So I think he's been into the pit wall through the final corner. In fact, I don't think he's even got a front wing. So Amadeus has spun out of second position. Callboy now attacking for the race lead on Ray Meter and towards 3, and he goes down the inside line. Ray Meter just says, you know what, I'll let you through. Callboy's through and he's into the lead, and look what this does. This brings Graham, this brings Kermit, Yana, Charlie, Scuba, Storm. This has opened the race completely up.
It did, and this is some good news for Graham, who's diving it down the inside here, going side by side with Ray Meter, but still side by side through these guys. I don't know what's going on with these guys. You wanted a clean race. It is a clean race with a lot of clean and nice looking battles here, but in the end Ray Meter defended his position and Graham has to wait for another time.
And look at
Invictus. Who is it? I'm a D. Went off again.
Oh, and Graham's down the inside on Ray Meter! Gets the move done into turn 9! Great move by Graham. He's into second position, not hanging around with that one. He knows that time is of the essence, and Yana now is on the back of Kermit, taking the move down towards turn 4. Honestly, you'd actually make this up from a PSGL and VRT Esports Cup event, but it's not. It's Callboy leading the way. It's Graham in second, the 2 Irishmen, the 2 Aston Martins now fight down in towards turn 3 at Remus, and Graham is through. Callboy lets him through, and Graham is through. He's into the lead of the race, and Yana hangs it on the inside line of Kermit, and now Scuba Steve and Charlie getting involved in the battle. A little bit of side-by-side contact down the hill. Kermit and Yana. Yana is now through and he's into P4, and Kermit now opens up a whole can of worms because Charlie looks to the inside line and gets pushed off line there by Kermit. I don't think he'll be happy with that, but Kermit certainly getting the elbows out. And to be honest, Charlie, a little bit of wishful thinking, I think, looking down the inside there.
Yeah, it was. He wasn't completely alongside, so it always was Kermit's corner. But yeah, what's going on here? It's some great racing here, and it's not done as well. I mean, still everyone's so close. From Graham in P1, everyone until down till P9 to Turi is within DRS range. So we're gonna be seeing a lot more here.
Yeah, and Yana side by side with Ray Meter. Lap 19 out of 36. We've only reached the halfway stage with Ray Meter. Looks to the outside line, and surely Yana's going to get the up and under through turn 1 on the uphill run, I should say, towards turn 2. And look at Kermit. It could possibly be 3 wide up the hill and towards turn 3. And Remus, and he's going to try and sandwich his car in between them both, the McLaren and the Ferrari. Really good. I tell you what, Kermit might still get the run in towards turn 4 at Schloss goal, but he's going to be side by side. And now Scuba Steve's getting involved as well. It's an absolute train of cars making moves. Kermit down the inside line. Oh, and Ray Meter just slightly moves across, and Scuba Steve, he did very well to keep that at the wall. He rejoins track dangerously on turn 2. Nothing he could really do about that, but Scuba Steve now down in P9. Slight bit of contact is all it takes for you to lose positions.
It is, but overall these guys are putting on a show here, and they're not done with each other as well. Kermit right on the back of Yana here, and he's looking every corner, so he's probably going to stay behind here, as Yana still has DRS to defend because of Corboy in front of him. But these guys, Charlie as well, within 2/10 of Ray Meter, they're putting on a show for you.
Yeah, do you know how I said this has got the hallmarks of a very good race? I'm damn well meant it. Yana's on the back of Callboy, now running up in towards turn 3. The amount of overtakes is about as much as you'll see in a full Formula 1 season. Graham is through. Yana is through, I should say, on Callboy. He's through and he's into P2. Graham, though, is 1.7 seconds up the road. Yana now through. He can now put his foot down to try and catch. Kermit is going to go maybe on the back of Callboy, side by side. Storm and Charlie are certainly side by side. Down in towards turn 4, and Storm Storm is through on Charlie. Medium's coming into play, it seems, and he's through and he's into P6 out on track. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3, and it's Atlas Corpo who's retired out the race. Key is also retired out the race as well, and Cannibal Maximus and Secret Dundee obviously early on in the race. Graham leads the way. Yana in second. Oh, and actually, Corboy spun! Corboy has spun, and Charlie, I think, has spun by himself as well. So Charlie has lost a few positions, and Corboy spins totally by himself. So Corboy now round into P12. What is happening from the lead of this race? We're getting plenty of spins.
We do, and Tunturi and Charlie found each other on track again, but this time Charlie just let him by. But that made Steve go by as well, and Steve now looking on the back of Tunturi, Scuba Steve, I mean there, and really wants to take the position off him on the medium compound of tires. 11 lap old softs now. You're going into the inside of turn 3, braking later, making the corner, and that's overtake done.
Yeah, Scuba dives down the inside of turn 3 and gets the move done. I'll just leave that pun with you all. I'll just leave that one with you all and try and understand what I've just said. Graham leads the way. 15 laps still to go, of course, here in Austria. And I tell you what, this has been an absolutely phenomenal race from start to finish. Driving standards, yeah, a little bit aggressive. But honestly, it's been well within the limits, I think. It's exactly what we want. Oh, and actually, Tunturi spun! Tunturi has spun, coming through coming through the first curve, I should say, at 7 and 8. And he spins the car around, and Tunturi now is the next one to be called out by the chicane of 7 and 8. And Tunturi round, and he's now down in P10. And Charlie, on a fresh set of mediums, remember, he came into the pit lane just then. Corboy as well must have had damage on the car, because now Corboy's 5.5 seconds beyond on a set of softs. Charlie got well ahead of Corboy in that pit stop. Yeah,
he did. So Corboy probably some wing damage and needed to replace his wing there. So some gaps starting to fall now, but not from Ray Meter, Storm, and Scuba Steve. They still want to make some overtakes done, and Storm on the back of Ray Meter now. I've got a horrible camera position, so I'm not sure I'm seeing the car behind, but he made the overtake done.
Yeah, really, really nice move. I'm not sure if your camera angle was the same as mine. Certainly saw it. Storm diving it down the inside line. Perfect camera angle through, and he's into P4 he goes. And now brings in Scuba Steve into play as well. But obviously a little bit of a lull in the race now. 14 laps still to go after this one. All of the guys on that set of medium compounded tyres from that safety car period seem to be excelling at the minute, and Ray Meter has spun, nearly coming through turn 9, and Scuba Steve laps that one up, down the inside he goes, and he's into P5, soon to be P4. Yana is into the pit lane.
Yep, he doesn't have the confidence these tyres will make it to the end, so he's stopping for another medium.
Oh, he's got a 5-second penalty as well, I think.
Penalty because of his, yeah, he touched with Jeffrey at the end of the safety car, so those 5 seconds are gone now, but it cost him a couple of positions. But Yana not sure he makes it, so what's going to happen with Graham, Kermit, Storm and Scuba Steve there?
I'm more confused about why Yana hasn't got onto a set of soft compound tyre. He's got onto a set of mediums.
Yeah, 13 laps on the soft, definitely with the lighter car, definitely going to make it to the end.
Bit of a strange decision. He has got out and clear out though. Charlie is going to have to try and get his foot down as well, and behind Yana, 2 seconds the gap between those guys. We'll try and keep you updated of course with that. Tunturi has just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well, and actually having a look at the penalties, as I'll cut to the penalties. 3 seconds each for Kermit, Storm, Scuba, Imadi, Tunturi and Jeffrey. They've all got 3 seconds. 5 seconds for Charlie after that incident. Invictus has just lost position to Imadi running through turn 4, and Imadi gets the outside line through turn 4, gets the move done. I saw that on the mini-map. He's through and he's into P number 12 out on track. And to follow up on the penalties as well, Remita's got 8 seconds. Mitchell now has got a 3-second penalty. And Invictus has got 11 seconds. Scuba Steve on the back of Storm. These two really don't want to give up to each other. And Scuba Steve dives it down the inside line. Gets the move done. He's into P3. Charlie with the new fastest lap of the race as well. Storm tries the up and under. And it's now going to be side by side once again. Bunty is into the pit lane, interestingly. Onto a set of soft compounded tyres he goes. And he's going to be in clear out. But Storm down the inside line as Scuba Steve looks to the outside line. And if these guys go another sector, full out, flat to flat racing. Storm just backs off that time, as I say. Scuba Steve, though, soon he's into P3. I've got to say, though, Scuba and Storm, probably two of the fairest races you will see, not only tonight, not only in F4, but in TTML this season.
Yeah, definitely. Storm always has been clean. You used to call him cautious Storm, but no cautious Storm today. He's battling. Yeah, he's been battling for half the race. So probably he's smiling in his seat or on his controller. Don't know which of the two, but he's definitely having fun today.
I think he drives on a pad, if I'm not mistaken. Scuba Steve has picked up a 3-second penalty for running wide. Storm arguably ran a lot wider than what Scuba did, and now, look at this. They're going to be side by side once again in towards Remus at turn 3, and Storm looks the outside line, nearly leaves him short of room, but he is through, and now look at Ray Meader. He's on the back, trying to get the move done, down in towards turn number 4, into Schloss goal, but Graham leads the way. Kermit now in second, Storm in third. Are these guys now on that 15-lap all mediums committed to the end as Ray Meaden need to lose it on the curb?
Incredible, yeah. I think they're gonna make it. I saw Bunty, I believe it was Bunty coming in on 23-lap old mediums. So these guys with what is it? 11 more laps to go.
They're gonna be. Storm's coming in.
Maybe.
Storm's coming in, and so is Scuba Steve. They're both coming in. Wow! And then this puts Mitchell possibly in a podium position.
It is, but Mitchell already on 23-lap old hard, so then I gotta be in the best shape at the end of the race as well.
If he makes it to the end of the race, then he's got some very good... Oh, Simon D! And then Victor's, I think, have collided, coming through turn 3, and a safety car! And that turns the race completely on its head! Graham now leads, coming in second, and Scuba Steve and Storm, you are two lucky sons of guns out on track. 7th and 10th respectively. They're on a set of soft compounded tyres. Scuba Steve, in fact, has had to let Charlie through. I think he overtook him coming out the pit lane. But Scuba Steve, on that sort of soft compounded tyre, I don't think he's going to lead the race, but he's certainly got a much better chance now of winning it.
He does, but I think Graham and Kermit are going to come in. Not sure about Ray Meader. So
I think they'll all come in.
I think the most lucky of them all is Graham and Kermit. They didn't fit in the same lap as Scuba Steve. Yeah, here you go. Graham coming in, Kermit coming in. They stayed out one more lap and they got a practically free pit stop here.
Mitchell didn't keep that within the white lines. That might be a penalty coming his way. I definitely caught that on the stream, unfortunately, from Mitchell's perspective. And it was a very late decision. He saw Ray Meader come in front of him, and he completely cut across the white line going in towards turn 9. Stewards might look into that. It's obviously not within the white lines, but Mitchell, onto a set of soft compounded tyres. Ray Meader is also in. Yana, interestingly, on a fresh set of medium compounded tyres. He is very lucky, I've got to say, but he's going to be eaten up by the pack surely in behind, because he's now in P3, obviously not with no penalties. Mitchell and AJ, though. AJ certainly with no penalties. We know how quick he is from last season. He could well be one of the favourites now to win this. Yeah, I think along with Bunty as well.
Yeah, if these guys can keep it clean and don't pick up any penalties, they definitely are, because after the safety car we probably have what's it gonna be? 8 more laps of racing when the safety car comes in.
Yeah, it might well be out until the start of lap 30 possibly. So we could only get 6 or 7 laps worth of racing towards the end of the race. And you never know, we could get another safety car after that period, because you never know what happens here in Formula 1. I'm a D, by the way, saying in the Discord, this game, man, why do the cars not go? So seems to be a bit of a ghosting failure, which might have caused the collision between himself and Invictus. That was coming through this corner, actually, that they're running through now, through the curve at turn 7 and turn 8. Jeffrey's AI, by the way, is involved in this. He's obviously not going to be picking us up 1,000 extra dollars for us in terms of the super chat. He's down in 14th position, but this creates a whole different dimension now underneath the safety car restart, because, like I said with Key earlier on, they were down at the back of the field. Jeffrey's in technically 3rd in line in his AI car, and Yana, Mitchell can't pass. So they've got to stay in behind, and it's going to be so off-putting under the safety car restart.
Yeah, it is, and AI not on the highest 110%, so he definitely is going to be slower off the restart of the safety car. So he's going to be holding up the guys behind, and that's good news for Graham and Kermit there.
Yeah, and Victor's, by the way, is typing in the Discord. Oh, and Victor's lost it on the curb, and Imad, I think, was behind him. And as obviously the ghosting system's failed, and you can see what has happened there. And Imad obviously at the race. Frustrating. He's the championship leader, and he's the main, his two main championship rivals, Graham, P1, Bunty, P7. They're getting mass amount of points.
Yeah, they are, and Bunty, if he can keep close to these other guys, he's going to jump them on penalties. So, going to be jumping up a couple of positions probably there. So yeah, bad news for Imad, but must say overall the ghosting system on this game is a-okay as the safety cars coming in, and Graham is going to be leading the restart, not starting the restart as well, but leading the restart.
He is going to be leading and starting the restart for sure. But yeah, Graham on obviously the fresh set of soft compound tyres. Kermit there in second. All depends in behind Mitchell and AJ. Can they get through on Yana within the first 2 laps before that DRS gets enabled out on track? If they do, I think AJ's got a really good chance of winning this. He's naturally the best on pace and probably going to outdo Kermit and Graham as well if they don't get away. But we're about to get racing once again here in Austria. Lap 29 out of 36 begins, and now Graham floors it out the final couple of corners. Yana luckily leaves a little bit of room not to catch Jeffrey in towards turn 1, which is good from his perspective. But Graham has absolutely burned away 7/10 of a second, running down in towards turn 1. A very clean restart by all. Nobody's going to be side by side certainly in towards turn 1. But Graham is already a second clear of Kermit. Kermit has not picked up the pace at all underneath the safety car restart, and in fact he's going to be under pressure from Yana in behind as well. Remida is on the back of Bunty running up in towards turn number 3, but Bunty is still in P7, Remida in P8. Graham though leads the way, Kermit in second, Yana in third, Mitchell in fourth, and again a very quiet, a very understated restart, but that's what we want. And now let the battles commence.
Yeah, let the battle commence. Kermit holding up these guys a little bit because Graham is already 1.2 seconds up ahead, and Mitchell looking on the back of Yana, who you can see on those medium tires, is not as fast in the traction zones as the soft runners around him.
Sorry, I was just watching them go with Invictus and Tubturi right down the back of the field for the wooden spoon, and Storm has got the move done on Remida just ahead as well, so Storm is through, and he's into P9, or P8 I should say. Remida's got damage. Right side end plate damage for Remida. I wonder if he's caught that underneath the safety car restart. Certainly no contact in terms of a penalty, but who knows. Storm on the back of Bunty, 7th and 8th position. Graham leads the way, Kermit in second, Yana in third. But yeah, you said Mitchell now on the back of Yana, and this is crucial. Mitchell, obviously with 3 seconds worth of penalties, he's now on the inside line. The Dutchman on the back of the Finn looks to the inside line, might just force him out wide like Verstappen and Leclerc back in 2018, and he gets the move done. And Mitchell is through, he's into PP, but look at AJ now on the back. He could pick up 2 positions in about as many corners. Looks to the inside line, in towards turn 4. Schloschko get a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but AJ's through on the up and under. He is through and he's into P3, and that is crucial. AJ's now got the pace. He can catch Kermit, he can bring the guys along with him in behind, and now AJ might just be the favourite to win this.
Yeah, he definitely is, but Mitchell doesn't want to give up. He tries to stay close to AJ, so he has to be looking behind him as well. But if he catches Kermit, which he's doing relatively fast now, and he can pass him, Graham can rub his hands and getting ready for some heavy defending, because AJ really wants to get on the podium and as high as possible.
And Mitchell just made a mistake coming out of turn 1 as well. He ran very wide and might have picked up a warning as a result. He's not on the back of AJ. AJ's not on the back of Kermit either. And I think Bunty could be going side by side with Callboy. And the run up towards turn 3. Remida is pitted into the pit lane. And Bunty sends it down the inside on. And Callboy, if he gets this move done, that's absolutely brilliant. He was so late on the brakes, he almost overcommitted it. And Charlie now down the inside line on Storm. Got to be very fair in racing. Storm just forces them to the inside line and says, you know what, Charlie, you're not coming through. You might be young, but you're certainly not coming through. I have the experience. Storm is still in P7. Bunty obviously getting that move done. He's through and he's into P9.
Yeah, and AJ now closing in on Kermit with some 4/10s only splitting them, but important for Kermit as well. I don't know.
Did Graham make a mistake there at the final 2 corners?
No, Kermit is just catching him, so probably Graham is maybe driving around on an aggressive setup, or he's doing this on purpose, so Kermit can defend against AJ here. But Graham has to be careful because Kermit really closing in fast now.
Yeah, he's got to watch out for the frog coming down his inside line. Kermit leads the way. Kermit in second. Graham leads the way, I should say. Kermit in second, but now AJ is going to try and fly. Look at the pace of AJ. Now looking to the outside line in towards turn 4. Schloss goal. Right around the outside he goes. Kermit gives him the space. Brilliant move by AJ. He is through and he's into P2. And that is why he has got the natural pace. That is why he was in F2 last season, in Season 4 of TTML. And now he is through with 4 laps to go after this one. Graham leads the way. AJ in second, and now possibly it could be between these two.
Yeah, it is going to be between these two. They're still penalty free. AJ needs to save up some ERS here, but definitely is getting ready to make that overtake. But he only has 4 laps left after we cross the finish line here, so he needs to get a move on. But he's looking really quick here. So Graham, get ready. You got to be defending the P1.
Yeah, and Victor's just lost the move there as well on Tunturi further down the field. Tunturi's through and he's into 11th position. I think we saw Charlie get the move done on Storm further down the lap as well. So Charlie is through and he's into P7 on the back of Storm as AJ nearly hits the back of Graham in towards turn 3. But now on the run down through Remus in towards Schlossgold once again at turn 4. Graham leads the way. AJ in second. AJ, I think, is laughing at Graham at this point. He's probably thinking, Graham, you have not got the pace, my son. AJ's on the back of him, and AJ naturally has got the pace to win this race. He just needs to save up that ERS, but in terms of Graham, he's actually got more ERS by about 5% than Graham.
Yeah, he does, but still, I think it's going to be happening next lap around. But the thing is then, does he have the raw speed to stay in front of him, or is it going to be switching places lap by lap, and the one starting the final lap in second position is going to be in favor there?
I think AJ should just stick behind. Exactly what you've just said. I think he should just stick behind, wait for the move to come to him, and there's a spinner, and Mitchell has spun. Coming out through turn 1, he's spun on the inside curb. I don't think he was caught in a collision with Kermit. I'll have to flick back, though, to the race leaders. AJ's right on the back of Graham, Charlie's right on the back of Storm, and Yana's right on the back of Scuba Steve as well. So we don't know where to turn. Charlie is through, though, on Storm, and he's through and he's into P6. Those two are yo-yoing for that position. I tell you, as AJ looks the inside line on Graham, Mitchell's been disqualified from the session for being the wrong way.
Yeah, he was standing still for too long there, I think, on track. But AJ really trying to make that overtake. There's quite similar on ERS here. AJ has a couple of percent more, but he's trying it. But Graham has some really good straight line speed there and some good exits out of the corner.
Oh! But look at AJ coming through turn 9. Look at the way he took that. He's now just caught a 1/10 of a second alone as a result of that pace coming through turn 9. And now this with the penultimate lap of the race to go. Graham v AJ. Shuley for the race win. Don't rule out Yana, by the way, for a podium. He could well latch onto a podium. Here comes AJ, though, on the back of Graham. Absolutely waltzes on by. The Mercedes through on the Aston Martin. He's through and he's made his move now with 2 laps to go. Can he sustain the effort? Can he sustain those tires as well? AJ, though, leading 4/10 of a second over Graham, but we know Graham, he is going to battle back, and battle back he will.
Yeah, definitely, but after this is going to be the final lap, so if I was Graham, I was going to save up some ERS and make that move in the final lap in exactly the same way AJ did on him this lap. So yeah, this is definitely not over.
This is not over by any stretch of the imagination, and of course 1 3-second penalty could absolutely bring it in the favour of either Graham or AJ as they come now through turn 9 once again through Rind. Graham actually very, very slow indeed coming through turn 9, and that gives AJ maybe the run to continue this. And Victus is round. They were fighting with he was fighting with Tunturi, I think, in that. Charlie picks up a 3-second penalty, but AJ leads on to the final lap of the race. Graham has got to have a good exit out of turn 1. I don't think he's going to be close enough onto the run in towards turn 3 at Remus, but down maybe in towards turn 4 at Schlossgoal could be the move that is awaiting his eyes. The Mercedes just locks up slightly, and that gives Graham a bit of a look in. This is not over and done with down in towards 4. Look at the speed of Graham, and do you know what? I think they're going to go side by side. AJ and Graham. Graham now to the outside. Oh, and AJ moves across, I think twice, maybe 3 times, and that tries to cut to the inside line. Kermit's not out of this. Oh, no. And Graham spins, and he's out of the race. Graham has spun, loses his front wing, and that is his hopes and dreams of maybe taking the championship lead going with it as well. But Graham now dropping down the field. AJ handed this win. One mistake absolutely cost him, and the tyres just gave up at the wrong moment. And Graham now dropping down the field. He's going to be behind Bunty possibly. Bunty could take the championship lead. AJ though ran the final corner to take a dramatic ending to this Austrian Grand Prix. AJ has won. Kermit's going to be in second. Jana is going to get on the podium, I think, to finish in third. He does. Charlie's there in fifth, but jumps down. Bunty's fourth. Bunty is fourth, and look where Graham is. He's down in seventh. How tides change on the final lap of the race. Invictus now coming to the line to finish in 11th position. AJ there was one. Kermit in second. Jana in third. My oh my, what a dramatic race, and what an absolute thriller that was.
Yeah, this is the racing you want to see in TTML. This is the stuff, yeah, you can wake me up in the middle of the night. What a performance from these guys, what a race, and as you said, one little mistake can cost you, and that's exactly what cost Graham in the end.
Yeah, unfortunate, I think, from Graham's perspective. We're not sure if he loses the championship lead. I think, theoretically, he might keep it by a point or two, but of course, it's all provisional. There might be stupid reports that come in as well as a result. But AJ takes the win out on track. A fantastic result. It's Kermit in second. A really good drive from him. And Jana in third. On that set of mediums, I thought he would have been eaten up. He kept his own. He kept his pace. And he's finished in third. And he's been rewarded.
Yeah, he is. And important as well. He kept it penalty free.
He did keep it penalty free. But look at that. AJ, P15 on the grid, has won. With Kermit starting in third and Jana starting in seventh. AJ, 14 positions gained. Fastest lap of the race as well to boot. He gets, obviously, the 31 points with that. So AJ now is he's won this race. Kermit in second, Jana in third. Bunty, 14th on the grid up to fourth. And Callboy, 16th on the grid up to fifth. Fantastic result. Scuba Steve drove excellently in terms of his battle with Storm and in terms of his battles as well throughout the race. In sixth position, well deserved. Graham, unfortunate, he somehow finished in seventh as a result of only a 3-second penalty. Storm in eighth, Charlie in ninth on 2 runs off the top 10. Invictus there in 11th position, and they are the only 11 finishers of this race. We started with a full grid of 20, remember. Jeffrey's AI did finish not under his own accord, so he finishes in P12 but doesn't pick up any points. Ray Meter, Ahmed D, the two front runners, second and first on the grid, out of the race, along with Atlas Copo, Key, Cannibal, Maximus, Secret Dundee, and Mitchell obviously getting disqualified for parking it out on track. And, well, that was unfortunate. He really didn't deserve that spin coming through turn one, but AJ leads the way. AJ has won, Kermit in second, Jana in third. I thought we were going to go around for another 36 laps there.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, I'm in.
Shall we try and get our top 3 in?
Let's do. I will try to get them to give them an invite into the party.
It'll be fantastic, of course, if we do get all 3 of them in. I know Maze is very shy, he doesn't want to speak to us. Does our Kermit the Frog. But finishing in P2, very good result from his perspective. Jana there in P3 as well. But we can't gloss away from AJ. P15 up to P1, drove excellently for the race, and I predicted the winner correctly about 6 laps from the end of the race. I knew he had the pace to win. The commentating on him in F2 last season, it was clear he had the pace on that set of soft compounded tyres. Cannot wait if he comes in for an interview to see what his reaction is. But surely driver of the day.
Yeah, definitely driver of the day. Starting 15th, finishing in P1 here. And the way he did it as well, with a great overtake on Graham. It was really unfortunate of losing traction and losing his front wing in the process. But yeah, AJ definitely my driver of the day as well.
Mitchell saying he started in P17 and was almost a podium. It was almost a podium. So unfortunate. Mitchell drove a very good race until he spun and obviously got disqualified from the race. Storm as well in the comment section there saying thanks Scuba for a fun race. Honestly, watch that back, both of you. You should be proud of the performance you put out there on circuit. It was absolutely brilliant. That is what the driving standard should be like across all 5 divisions here in TTML. It was absolutely brilliant to watch. Storm as well, saying, and rightfully I said this as well, His EOS button got stuck and he nearly lost it. So, Conti has just begun a party with everyone. And, of course, he's on a PS5, I think. And that's why I have to leave the party and go blue screen for just a second. As we now transition over... Did you have a network error there?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure what happened there, but I got kicked out and got put in again.
I feel sorry because Yana just joined the party when I left. I feel so sorry for him. Oh dear. Anyways, we're going to have to try and invite them in again, hopefully. If we don't, I'll try it on my end, and then if it doesn't work, then the interviews, of course, won't happen. But really hope you enjoyed this race tonight. I, of course, will be off commentary for the next 3 weeks for TTML because I'm going to be doing lead comms for the PSGL and VRT Esports Cup event. TTG Esports representing, of course, in that, along with 9 other teams, including CRG, VSR, IFR. The biggest names, the biggest drivers, the biggest teams on the PS4 platform are going to be doing it out battle on Friday night. If you want to divert your attention away from TTML F4 and F5, you can. You can tune in for myself and Aiden, who we're going to be taking through the stream for that. And then, of course, I'm going to be back in about 3 weeks' time, I think, for round 7, I think it is. I'm going to be back for, and I might even be back for the final round of the championship as well. However, we have been joined by Mr. AJU1417, 15th on the grid to first. That was an absolute incredible race. Talk us through it, AJ. Yeah, that might go, of course, to the stewards. Apparently, we can't hear your voice. We can't hear your voice. Yeah, it might be the party settings. That might need changing.
Oh, yeah, there we go. There.
Should be able to hear AJ now, hopefully, and I will re-ask him the question again. Of course, that race went really well from your perspective. 15th on the grid, up to first position. You must be really happy with that result.
Yeah, of course. As I said just now, bottled quali, and then that P15 had a good launch. Overtook about 7 cars from up to turn 1, and then by lap 5 or 6. Got to P3, first safety car came out, a few of us put the hards on, and then I spun because I bottled it. Then the second safety car, which helped out massively, I put the softs on, as a few other people did, and then I was just on a mission. Yeah, and then overtook Graham, which obviously will probably get reported for, but as I said, I have the footage to show that I think I kept the car on a straight line.
Yeah, it was obviously great position, I've got to say, of the car. Obviously, I said in commentary you might have moved across 2 or 3 times. Certainly, as the live reactions go, I thought that was it. Obviously, we'll have to have a look at all the stewards footage if it comes in. But obviously, that set of soft compound tyres, that second stint, I predicted you about 6 or 7 laps from the end that you were going to win this. You did win this, so well done on that. And obviously on that set of soft compound tyres, you were absolutely flying.
Yep. Just as I said, I was on a mission because I felt like I could have won the race in the first place, and then after the spin I was just more motivated to get back towards the front, and it worked out.
Yeah, and obviously that motivation, I think, really spawns from a relatively good season, of course, last season, I should say, in F2. And obviously transitioning from F2 to F4, obviously a bit of a downgrade, but how do you feel in terms of the pace of the drivers? Is it competitive in terms of the assist here?
Yeah, like obviously there's Bunty, Secret Dundee, Imedy, they're all really quick. Mitchell's quick as well. Obviously Graham's really consistent. There's a few other drivers that are up there as well. But I just want to try and get promoted through good work through the season.
Yeah, and certainly if that race result is anything to go by, you will be absolutely flying in the next couple of races. Conti, I will come across you. I'm not leaving you out, my friend. Any questions for AJ?
Yeah, well, really curious to hear about. I mean, next week it's going to be your home race, I believe.
It is.
Britain. What's your game plan there?
Pole position, hopefully. Obviously we had the whatever race it's called, the race before the season, the pre-season race. I spun there in the first lap in Maggots and Beckett's, which I don't plan to do again. Hopefully I have a more stable setup this time. But I just expect all the top guys again, like Bunty, Imedy, Secret Dundee, to be fighting up there, and I want to be fighting with them.
Nice.
Doesn't sound like a bad plan at all, but
Yeah.
in the meantime, in the short term, go and enjoy your evening and maybe crack open a cold one.
Well, yeah, maybe not, because I've got work at 5 in the morning, but yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. I would have one anyways.
Maybe I should.
Maybe you should, on my behalf, because obviously I'm, well, not leaving, but you never know. Yeah, there we are. But go and enjoy your evening nonetheless.
Yep, thank you very much. You too.
Very welcome indeed, and now we'll move on to our man who of course finished in P3. It was Yana, and Yana, I predicted towards the end of the race that you were going to get eaten up by the pack, obviously on that fresh set of soft compound tyres. You managed to keep it clean obviously in P3. Talk us through that race though, because it was quite crazy.
Well, it was really hard race. I got a pretty good start, but then there was no room in turn 1 and I spun. Then the first safety car did help, but meanwhile it was ending. Some Alpha did hit me and I get the 5-second penalty for that. And that really made end of the race so hard. I tried to do something different with the mediums and undercut, but second safety car messed that plan up.
But yeah, obviously on that set of medium compounded tyres, I don't think it was intended obviously to come in to serve that 5-second penalty. But to be honest, it was a bit of a saving grace for you, because eventually you were towards the top end of the field into that second safety car restart. Did you have a feeling that you were going to be eaten up by the field and behind?
Well, not, because in Austria it's not a big difference in softs and mediums. It's something like 4 tenths per lap, so in a race it's much easier to keep other drivers behind you.
Yeah, I think obviously with the DRS trains as well, the battling as well that was happening out on track, certainly good from your perspective. You spun as well on lap 1 and you came back to finish in P3. You must be so happy with the result though.
Yeah, it couldn't be P1, but that 5-second penalty didn't help on that.
Yeah, you never know. That 5-second penalty was definitely, though, a saving grace, I think. You coming into that pit stop and picking up a P3. Brilliant. I was going to call you Callboy there. I saw Callboy's name on the screen. Conti, any questions for Yana? Goodness me, I'm losing my marbles.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I forgot to say to AJ, congratulations on the podium. And I must say, it's like we're talking to Kimi Räikkönen here. It's great to get an interview with you. Your voice is so similar, and the accent. But yeah, I was really wondering, as you were on the mediums, you just told the speed difference isn't that hard, but in the traction zones it is pretty hard. Were you mostly thinking about defending or attacking on those mediums?
Probably defending, but it's not so horrible with the mediums if you get your setup right. And in the end I let Scuba by because I knew I can keep him up and use DRS and try to catch up the front of the guys.
That's a really, really smart strategy. And then the same question as I asked AJ, next week Britain, what's your thoughts about that?
Hoping better qualifying. It makes things much easier.
And besides qualifying, is it a track you like? Is it a track you dislike? What's going to be the game plan? Or you don't want to spoil it? That's good, of course.
Well, it's a decent track, and well, nothing much to say.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
Short but sweet, I like it. Yana, go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thanks.
Very welcome indeed, and of course Kermit doesn't have a mic, so we can't invite him in for an interview, but I'm sure he's very happy, of course, with a very good P2 result. Of course, penalties might come into play just yet, of course, but that is us done here for TTML F4, and we really hope you, of course, you enjoyed the stream. Conti, I will come across to you once again. AJ for drive of the day?
Yeah, definitely.
Not much more needs to be said. AJ definitely drive of the day as well from my perspective. Fantastic, of course, performance from 15th on the grid up to 1st. And that rounds off my commentary for the next 2 weeks also here for TTML F4. Of course, it's been an absolute pleasure sharing it with Conti in the commentary box. I don't know why I'm pointing to the right-hand side, by the way. I thought you were alongside me in my room. I don't know why I thought that. It could be. It could well be. You never know. But honestly, absolute pleasure. You're going to be commentating, of course, with Storm moving forward. Obviously going into Britain next week. How good do you think that partnership's going to be? And how good of a race do you think it's going to be in Silverstone?
Yeah, the partnership we have to see. I never commentated with Storm. It's by the way, for if you're still tuned in, it's another Storm than we saw driving today. That's Storm 72. But yeah, England. I personally love England, and it's a great track to race. It's a great track. Well, like Austria a bit. It's some great overtaking opportunities there with a couple of DRS zones and a technical sector through Maggots and Baggots. So yeah. Definitely, if the guys keep up the standard like they did today, it's gonna be great to watch.
Driving standards? What driving standards in F4? It's absolutely brilliant race, an absolute classic, a great race to leave my cell phone and to leave your cell phone, Conti, as well. Of course, more action coming over the weekend. We've got BNL Leagues 1 and 3 tomorrow night at, is it 8 PM UK time, if I'm not mistaken? Or one's at 6:30 and one's at 8, I think.
Yeah, I believe it is. I can quickly check and...
I've got the Discord open, I don't know why... I've got Discord open, I don't know why I should check. Hang on, I'll tell you. Yeah, Leagues 1 and 3, 7 PM Central Eastern Time, it's around Italy. And then League 2 is on Sunday along with TTML Sim League 1 as well. And then we're back live for CWC F1 and F2 on Monday. And then... Wednesday is not EML, that's the week after. Thursday though, F1, F2 and F3. I'll be back, of course, on a Thursday night to check you up. But I'm just going to throw a little bit of self-promotion out there. If you do want to tune in for the PSGL and VRT Esports Cup event, you can next week. Of course, I believe it's at 8 PM, if I'm not mistaken, UK time. 10 of the best teams. The best drivers, Duncan Hoffland from Pro Exhibition is going to be there for VSR. CRG Blizzard, who's currently the championship leader, of course, in PSGL F1. Or one of the championship leaders, I should say, in PSGL F1. And some other names to go with that as well. So I'm just literally whetting the appetite for you if you do want to tune in for that on possibly the biggest platform, the biggest event, of course, that I will be getting to commentate on. And Aidan Carter, an absolute wondrous commentator in his own right, is going to be joining me. And our very own Tom Zaggers is going to be doing the graphics for that as well. But if you do want to tune in for F4 and F5 next week, you can do that as well. But for myself and Conti, we will leave it here. Thank you so much for tuning in. An absolute epic. We really hope you enjoy watching it back. But for myself and Conti, thank you so much for watching TTML F4. And until next time, goodbye.